Hey there troopers, Dan here. So I'm just about to hopefully finish off this replica style helmet. This is the RS Prop Masters Renovation helmet that I received from a fellow trooper, and it was in slightly bad state. So it didn't come from RS, it came from somebody else, and it was in pretty bad nick. But I've now redone it, resprayed it all. So far I'm really pleased with it. It's looking very, very aged, very sort of screen used. But all of the painting is done now apart from the tube stripes, and I just wanted to show how I do it. It's nothing new and it wasn't my idea, but it's basically using masking tape. In this case this is branded frog tape. Frog tape I find is really good. It holds on well, but it doesn't stick too much. It doesn't pull off the paint. It just works really, really nicely. So essentially what I've done is I put a bit of frog tape on here, which was this width, just the standard whatever size this is, doesn't actually say, but normal sort of size frog tape. And I've then used a metal rule and a Stanley knife, and the approximate pencil width, which is basically this sort of gap here, that you want approximately a pencil width in there, which is then, here you go, roughly a pencil width. So that I worked out to be about 8mm. So I basically cut two strips at 8mm, that's one for either side, and that actually left me then with 20mm of frog tape. So I just cut those in half, 10mm and 10mm, which can then be used for this lower section, 10mm here. And I've actually got, this is a template. I had the idea for this from Mr. TM, which is to use an offcut of ABS. This can basically be used as a bit of a guide for your markings on here for the tube stripes, but also as well, that line that you see on there, the pencil line with the pen as well, that is approximately 15mm. So just to show you on here, that is 15mm, which is approximately the height, if you want to call it that, of the tube stripes. So I've used that just to make sure that my masking tape is approximately 15mm each side, and that's basically then how it's going to be done from there. So I'll now carry on to start drawing these down. I won't lie, it's not one of my favourite parts of it, because I find without having millions of helmets to practice on, it's quite hard to get the curvature correct of the tube stripes, because you're trying to paint onto a curved surface with the bizarro straight lines. It's not easy, I won't lie, and it's sometimes difficult to gauge the thickness as well. They should be, in my opinion, about 3mm thick. Each stripe should be about 3mm in its thickness. And the fact that you've got the masking tape here, it's hard to explain it, but if you draw a line that is sort of right the way along, you overlap the masking tape. That means that the line looks longer, which means that it can put the perspective out a little bit. The proportions look a bit odd. So in the past, I've been tempted to overpaint these too thick, just because they're longer than 15mm, they're longer than this, and that means they sometimes look a bit thin. But when you actually only look at the bit in the middle, then they're about the right size. Anyway, enough waffling from me. I'm going to carry on from there, try and get that done. But as I say, that's the RS Renovation helmet, just using 2 bits of masking tape to then draw the, well, paint the tube stripes in from there. Anyway, enough from me. Speak to you all later. Bye. So there we go, that's the tube stripes done. The masking tape has been removed and the tube stripes are now painted onto the helmet. Are they 100% perfect? No. There's a couple at the front there that are maybe not as curved as I would have liked, but overall I think when the helmet is looked at generally, it's going to be more than adequate. The front few tube stripes on the original helmets did tend to lean towards the frown a little bit anyway. That means these front few here would lean more towards the nose or the frown. Than sort of leaning away. So that is common with the Dave M or the Set for Stun style. But as I say, from normal sort of viewing, try and give you some angles here as well as some photos separately. But I am really pleased with those. I say they're about 15mm in width, as in sort of left to right here, that side to that side, and they are about, on this one I used 8mm masking tape, just sort of between the cheek, as we call it, and between the first tube stripe. So that gap running down here is approximately 8mm. Again, that's roughly a pencil width, so you can see a pencil in there. If you actually put that in there, the paint's still wet, so I won't do that too much. And each tube stripe is approximately sort of 3mm in thickness. So the actual sort of thickness, that size, is about 3mm, which is not far off. It's just depending on how much pressure you put down on your brush. But as I say, that is mostly done now. Just need to put the screen in, of course, the lens or the visor, whatever you want to call it. The foam star is in there already. But as I say, that's really it now. So those tube stripes are done. Again, give you a shot from a few feet back, and I'm really happy with those. And I'll do a full video once the helmet is 100% complete. Ta-ta for now.